So Phil, thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
I really appreciate it. And my role is just to kind of set the stage for what you're going to do and for Last Saturday Poets. And we do have a plan for recording all of this on CDs. Each of us will have a CD of all of us.
That's great.
Yeah. Wow. So it will be, instead of a book, it will be a book on tape.
An audio
book. And there may be a future for that. Who knows? We may be starting a trend.
Yes.
Because, poetry should be audible anyway.
Of course. It's spoken.
Right.
I mean, the page is okay. But when you hear the voice, although, there's some great authors who are lousy speakers.
Isn't that the truth? I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Just recently in listening to some audiobooks on poetry websites. They really don't sound too good. So sometimes, but you do. And the wit is what I so enjoy. And
Thank you.
Your work is full of wit. Witty. So this is Phil Ginsburg.
Correct.
And he has, how many books have you published?
1, maybe 4.
4 books, okay. And these books are available where for people to see in print?
Well, 1 is available.
Okay.
In Pursuit of the Almost by Endeavor Literary Press. That is available on Amazon and other places.
Well, good. Yeah. And I have seen your latest book that you didn't bring today, but I really enjoy the cover of that. And
Yes.
the title is?
The title is, They Say Dynamic Book Covers Attract Readers. And what I tried to do was create the most unattractive book cover, dynamic as possible.
It's very non-dynamic, very black and white. But that's part of your wit,
So
part
I
of your humor.
figured if they get the cover, they'll get what's inside.
And tell me a little bit about your performing history too, because I know you have done things with theater, little theater around, and maybe big theater. I don't know.
Done theater, write plays, perform poetry, used to sing in clubs, and but I like writing the best. I mean, performing's good, but when you get out of the way and just hear the words, somehow it creates a different, and people have to listen harder because it's just words. That's
really true. If you don't get to look at the page, right, you can always buy the book later, but you memorize your work too.
I try to.
A lot. What I've heard you do, a lot of it is by memory, and that's impressive.
I try to because the page, there's kind of a little, when you have something in front of you, and I don't blame people for doing that, because one day maybe my memory will quit on me too. But I like the straight connection with the audience, if I can have it.
Well, it's very good. It's very useful to the audience too, because that memory work is something that most of us don't do. And so we love hearing it. Yeah, I think that's because of the theater background. I had to memorize a lot of stuff. Sure. Are you going to sing it all today? Only by request. Oh, okay. No. Well, I don't have anything to sing. That would be cool. You could hum. But I haven't heard you sing. That's very nice. Yeah, I don't do a lot of it anymore. I remember when I was 28, I sang on television on a show called Callback in New York, and Barry Manilow played the piano for me. He was the music director. Whoa. We had a lot of fun. Is that still out there? Can we still find that? I have never found it. Oh. I've never found it. We'd have to search under Barry Manilow, probably, huh? He talks about being the music director for that show. I've seen some interviews. But it wasn't on very long, and it didn't get called back. Well, sounds like you have the background that we like to hear about, and we love to hear your poetry. Thank you. And so I think what we'll do now, I am Judy Harrington, and I am doing this for us, for Last Saturday Poets.
Yes.
So that we will have an anthology on a CD. And here at Sand Creek Library, Keegan Kellogg is our mentor.
He sure is.
And he will be very helpful in putting this all together. So we can always do a book later, but right now.
Okay. So what should I do?
Well, I would like for you to just read. And I will ask you after you're finished if I have some questions about the work, about the piece.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of keep interfering here along the way.
Should I introduce the poem?
Yes, please.
It's called Imagination Vacation. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm on my way to Bora Bora, then off to Granada to fondle the flora. Time for a lobster boil in Nova Scotia. Next, a pilgrimage visit to the Via Dolorosa. Off to Zagreb for a taste of Croatia. I wave Zvano hello with a big smile on my facia. A stop in Rome for just a day. From there, book a plane to Mandalay. Of course, I can't miss a visit to the Acropolis. Then 3 days on a Kenyan safari. There's a restaurant in Nairobi with great fried calamari. Spending time in Nice would be nice. I would enjoy being stuck in Thailand with some sticky rice. Paris, London, Beijing, Oslo, Berlin, I hardly know where to begin. An imagination vacation can take me anywhere without ever leaving my lazy boy chair. Gotta go now. I'm off to Bulgaria. So thankful I don't need a shot for malaria.
Oh, all those rhymes I love. Tell us the title of this book so that we have a frame of reference.
This book is called Them Bowls.
Them Bowls.
I have a poem in here called Them Bowls.
Okay.
Should I try it?
Sure.
It's kind of a humorous apocalyptic poem.
The end of everything in a tone of humor, huh?
Well, I always thought of the bowls in Revelation as salad bowls.
Oh, oh yes, oh yes.
Should I try that?
Let's laugh or cry,
Should I try that one?
Please.
Okay. Now I think I have this pretty memorized.
Good.
But
Just
I
try
don't
it.
know, but
Do you?
All right. Them bowls. The 7 bowls in the book of Revelation ain't no salad bowls for mastication. No heirloom tomatoes for an ensalada caprese. The first bowl is for those who take the mark of the beast. Oy vey. Loathsome sores that resist any dressing. Leprous, crouton-afflicted humans devoid of blessing. Not even an orange vinaigrette can stifle the cries of regret. The second bowl will turn the sea blood red. Skip the seafood salad, because now all the fish are dead. Maybe some bib lettuce with tahini instead. A third bowl turns rivers and springs into a scarlet curse, like the Olive Garden red vinegar dressing, but only worse. The fourth bowl, poured out on the sun, brings unbearable heat. People scorched redder than a pickled beet. A watermelon endive salad might provide some cooling relief, but not even endive can end this unending grief. The fifth bowl is poured out on the throne of the beast. Darkness and cursing of gnawed tongues unleashed. People lying down in unrelenting pain with no thought of panko breadcrumbs on a bed of romaine. As if the first 5 bowls did not enough the planet deaden, the 6th bowl speaks of Armageddon. The nations tossed in a bowl of blasphemous pride. The last battle of God Almighty with no place to hide. And finally, here it comes, bowl number 7, overflowing with the wrath of heaven. Cities fall, and that ain't all. An earthquake, mountains collapse, the planet suffers a fatal synapse. There's hail to pay, 75 pounds each, so they say. Babylon falls, it is done, it is done, a voice in heaven calls. 7 bowls and no salad in sight. Will it be that day? Oh, I have to stop. Can I start over?
Just go on from there, wherever you like.
7 bowls and no salad in sight. Will it be that way one day in the kingdom of light? Will there be bowls of cob, nicoise, kale Caesar with bacon, spinach, walnuts, and goat cheese just for the taking, cabbage slaw dressing delightfully Jamaican? What could be better than a heavenly Greek salad with some sheep milk feta? Oh, by the way, some people believe they will be raptured, just taken up and leave before the 7 bowls are outpoured, caught up in the air to meet the Lord. Armageddon out of here, they testify. It appears that some folks won't even die. Whether that's true or not, we'll wait and see. Tell you the truth, this is all a little bit too much for me. Forget the Antichrist. I just want an antipasto. Lots of artichokes, briny olives, fresh basil, and chewy pasta, all olive oily and curled. Then I'll be ready for the end of the world.
Oh, are you a chef? Oh, I can just taste it. I'm getting hungry for a salad. Oh.
I kind of messed up one little word. But
we can fix that. We can fix it.
But I don't remember where it was.
Megan or Keegan will find it.
Okay.
He'll find it. Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say.
There's more. I see more in that book. We have plenty of time.
Whoa,
oh, yeah.
You're really suffering for punishes. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Hold on 1 second.
While you're looking, the one show that I didn't see out of your many shows had to do with some kind of a fruit. And
a show or a poem?
No, I think it was a show. It was a show and coconut.
Oh, coconut.
You could just tell us about it, or if you have.
Well, the play was called Coco. And it's about a woman who gives birth to a coconut who seems to be challenged, doesn't really talk, until one day the mother drops it and then picks it up and the coconut sings, "Oh, what a lovely bunch of coconuts." That's all she can. So they decide, let's put Coco on America's Got Coconuts, and so she goes on the show and she sings, but that's all she can sing. Now, she can also see the future. So she knows what's going to happen in the future. And there was only one other case like that of a coconut who did that in Malaysia, who could prophesy lotto numbers, and it was kidnapped, and there was a gang violence, and the coconut lost its life out of greed. So Coco goes back on the show, and during one of the numbers, she falls again, and then she just gives out these winning lottery numbers, and everybody goes crazy. They all attack her, the audience. They all want her for themselves, and it ends up she's gone too. And then the next shot, the last shot, is the same couple feeding an infant watermelon. Who's singing, "Oh, Watermelon Man"? And the couple says, "Why can't we ever give birth to normal children?" And that's how it is.
And that was performed where?
It was performed here at town at the Thespiana, but it was also done in New York too.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was fun, kind of theater of the absurd, which I like to do.
Sure. And this was the one you wrote, and then it ended up in New York.
Yeah, it did for us.
Oh, cool.
And it's all about the exploitation of young talent. That's what it was really about. How we take children and we try to make stars out of them, and
Yeah. I get it. I understand. Yeah. And there are only so few who make it.
Well, it's very damaging child stars grow up with a lot of issues in many cases,
For sure. Have you been a performer all along, since way back?
Well, I went to theater school, and then I got out, and I started writing for comedians, and then what happened? I sang, so it was kind of a contradiction. Did all this funny stuff, and then I would sing, so people didn't know what to do with me. And so I went to California, Hollywood, and when you get to Hollywood, the first thing you do as an actor, if you're a union, is get on the dating game, if you can. And because I was a union, I got on the dating game. And I actually won. And I didn't go on the date, though. But all I did was for the check, but I owed so much money to the union after. My check ended up like $20. And then I did a movie out there that was awful. It was so bad. And I said, no, there's got to be more to my life than this. And so I became a fruitarian.
What's that?
Only eat fruit. For almost a whole year.
It kind of turned yourself inside out, doesn't it?
A little bit. I was on a spiritual quest. And the thought was, if you remove, I read this book, the mucus from your body, mucus causes disease, that if you're mucus-free, you could live forever. How about that for a spiritual trip? Salvation through mangoes. But anyway, all of that kind of ended. I was in Venice, California. And we were not restrained too much on smoking the weed. And we were pretty high all the time. But I wasn't high that day. And I actually heard a voice. And it was pretty audible. Go to the desert and thank God for your life. Very strong. And I figured, oh no. I really got to cut out this drug stuff because I'm hearing voices now. And it would not go away. But I tried to dismiss it. But it kept insisting, go to the desert. I don't know who God is. And the desert thing. And I never camped out in my life. I'm Jewish. We do beaches, hotels. We don't do woods and stuff like that. We had a bad experience. 40 years in the desert. Went away for a weekend.
Right.
So I asked my friend Gary, who, he camps out. I said, where do I go? And he said, go to Palm Springs. You ever been there?
Yes.
Tockwitz Falls. Do you know Tockwitz Falls?
No, I don't. It's a blur, but...
Yeah, it's a canyon with waterfalls. And so I got in there and did what the voice said. I thank God all night. Next morning I did something a little unusual for me and not very wise. I climbed a cliff to get into a waterfall. And I brought a suitcase with me with fruit. I was a fruitarian. Anyway, I get down the cliff into the waterfall, and I don't know how I did it, but I realized I don't think I can get out of here. This is the culmination of 30 years of not making some good choices, and I'm going to die here. There's no one here. It was Easter weekend. No one there. And so I don't know why I brought stationery with me, but I wrote 3 letters. If you find me, this is who I am. And it's had a chance to ruminate on my whole life up to that point and said, wow, this is the final bad choice. I'm hearing voices. A guy appeared on the top of the cliff, big guy, mountain climber. And he said to me, can you get out? And I said, no, I can't. And he told me later that a lot of people die in that place from falling off cliffs. So he said, watch me. And he came down, halfway, he fell, cut his arm. But he came for me, and he took my suitcase, and he took me by the hand, step where I step, follow me, watch out for the loose rock. And halfway up, I stepped on the loose rock, and he brought me back. It's hard to understand, but in that instant, Jesus revealed himself to me. I'm Jewish. That's a big deal. It was a spiritual revelation, and I just knew, that if I had fallen, I was not going to a good place. And here's this man, I didn't put it together till later, he comes down from above. He actually bleeds from me because he cut his arm up, takes me out of this pit, and we got out, and I thanked him. He was a real person. His name was Todd. I never forgot it. That was 53 years ago. And my whole life changed in an instant. Yeah. I came home and I told my friends, I said, I found what I'm looking for. Jesus is God. And they really thought I had lost my mind. Everybody thought I had lost my mind. And I ate a whole watermelon a week later and got so sick. I was sick for 2 weeks up in the hills in my friend's house. And it's like I was emptying out of everything, But I didn't know what to do with this revelation. I thought, wow, because I'm Jewish, what is all this? Do I have to become a Catholic? What does this mean? And I went into a church for the first time in my life, and a Lutheran church, and whoever that was, he tried to talk me out of it. He said, you know what, you're Jewish, you should think about it. And he said, were you on LSD? And you know what, I once did the Merv Griffin show, and I was so crazy, that's all he said. Was he on LSD? No, it wasn't. Anyway, I went out of that church, and I said, I don't know what happened to him, but I know what happened to me. And I actually would walk around the streets of New York with my hands up. I was so enraptured. And my friend said, I was on the bus, I saw you. Do you know you walk around with your hands up? I said, yeah, I do. I didn't know what to do with it. And then I met some other people who believe, and I was told about a Jewish Messianic place where Jewish believers. And I started going, and I started reading the Bible, and got a job as a night doorman. And it was like my seminary. I just read the Word, prayed, and the presence of God. And I had a lot to get rid of, so it took a long time. But here I am. So and I left show business. But in 1997, here in the Springs, I was praying one day, and I felt God kind of prodded me and said, well, let's look at your life. You work for a Christian ministry, you have a Christian dentist, a Christian accountant, Christian doctor. How is that really reaching people with the love of God? And so I auditioned for a part in Macbeth here in town. I hadn't acted in 25 years. And I got the part. And then it started to unfold again, theater. And that's how it began. And the poetry, I don't know. I was a stand-up comic for a while. I didn't like that. Because then people have an expectation of line, laugh. But poetry's different. It's more subtle, and doesn't have to always be funny either, So that's how I came to this place after many dangers, many trials. But it started in that desert. Epiphanies are not easy to come by, and so really, it shook me and it changed me, and I understood. People thought I was crazy. My parents, everybody. Yeah.
What an amazing story. Do you have a poem that sort of reflects that?
I do. I think I memorized it.
Would you say it?
Yeah, I could do it.
Yes, let's do it.
And if I forget, well...
Just make it up along the way.
No one believes me. Growing up, we lived next door to the Castles. These are really crazy people, always fighting. One of them usually had a black eye. Anyway, Mr. Castle disappeared for over a year. Nobody saw him. Everybody assumed he was dead. But I went to the Garden State racetrack with my friend Steve Warner, and I saw Mr. Castle at the trifecta window. I went home and told my parents. You nuts. Castle's dead. And what were you doing at the racetrack with Steve Warner? 2 months later, Mr. Castle moved back next door again. Mrs. Castle made him a nice meal and then banged a frying pan over his head. But this wasn't the first time my parents didn't believe my witness of things. I came to Christ over 50 years ago. The second member of the divine trifecta introduced himself to me in a California desert. My parents and a lot of my friends thought I had lost my mind. How can you believe such nonsense? You're Jewish. What are you doing? I said I saw him, not with my eyes, but with my spirit. You're nuts. He's dead. Were you on drugs? Of course you were on drugs. I said he's alive. And one day he'll return. Just like Mr. Castle. Just like Mr. Castle.
Whoa. What a way to summarize all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, I like that poem.
What about singing?
Wow, you brought a lot out of me today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now it's for posterity because this will be on your CD, on our CD.
How do you like that?
Great. I like that.
Wow.
I like that very much. Oh.
Well, maybe I should quit while I'm behind.
Well, I think I'd like to hear another poem of yours that is, you know,
let's see.
fun for you.
Fun for me. Maybe Postal. Maybe Postal. 1 second. I have one called On World Poetry Day. I could try it. On World Poetry Day. It's World Poetry Day. So what do? I have nothing to say, but what else is new? I could use the word apercu to make a rhyme. I should look it up, but I don't have the time. Perhaps I could write in Portuguese, share a recipe for spaghetti bolognese, give you a list of my medications, shed some light on my obfuscations, build a bridge to make a connection, become a Darwinian unnatural selection, go to a blood bank and make a deposit, dress up the skeletons in my closet, bid goodbye to my last hello, unfriend people on Facebook I don't even know, get a hip replacement and still be a square, find a get a hip replacement and still be a square, find a Bartlett quotation from an Anjou pair. It's World Poetry Day, so maybe it's time you wrote a poem, free verse or rhyme. Here's a prompt I'd like to share. Try rhyming listeria with Nigeria and take off from there. Well, I've been parked on this page a little too long. My meter's run out. There's no sing left in my song. So on this World Poetry Day, take a cue. Put your hand to a slam, epigram, or haiku. If you write a passionate sonnet, put a Scotch bonnet on it. right from your heart. But before you start, whatever you do, first look up the definition of upper Q.
Your rhymes are just, they're right on, you know?
Oh,
really
I try
funny.
to.
Really funny.
I try to hear music when I do it.
Speaking of music, do you have something to sing? I mean, we might as well capture what we can.
I don't know if I do. I don't know. Maybe we could make up a song?
Well, that would be good.
Let me think. Well, it's last Saturday, Poets' Day. So what do we do? Be sure to don't play this on a Sunday. And if you do, remember the new let's try again. It's last Saturday, Poetry Day, in the studio. And what happens if you play this CD on a Sunday? Well, what do you know? 'Cause they say Saturday is the new Monday, and Monday is the new Friday. So I guess it doesn't matter what day you play. The last Saturday Poets on Saturday.
That should be our theme song. Right. That's really great. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I just want you to keep reading from your book because otherwise it just disappears from us. So we've got time. Really? We had plenty of time.
Oh, wow.
If you have another one you'd like to read or you're willing to read.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. How about the life of rice? The life of rice. We can be fried. We can be curried. Boiled in a minute, but don't like to be hurried. Agreed to be congeed and turned to mush. Became a snap, crackle, and pop sugar rush. Called pilaf in English, pulao in Persian. Got stuff like baggage and cabbage, the Hungarian version. Upstaged by beans on the same plate. I'm a Arabian shrimp dish made in Kuwait. Been creoled, casseroled, served with andouille. Spent the best years of our lives buried under chop suey. We can be yellow, we can be brown. Was tossed at Louise Bloch's wedding and got stuck in her gown. White, red, forbidden, and dirty. Served as a tasty biryani to Krishnamurti. We can be spicy, we can be wild. Jasmine, basmati, short, medium, long grain, fluffy, and mild. Glutinous in sushi, creamy arborio. Even got lodged in a diva's throat during an oratorio. From gumbo to cacao moo, from machi to foo. This is our testimony. But please, don't put us to shame. Promise you'll never use our name with a roni.
That's great. Now, does Chris fix you all these dishes, or do you fix her these dishes?
Oh, no. I just saw rice one day and said, what would rice have to say for itself?
Right. That's a good thing. Just before you ate it.
I like giving inanimate things a voice.
Sure. Why not?
I think that's, why not? That's right. I wonder, do I have, oh, well. Some of these are a little, let me look at I usually don't do a lot of these poems because, well, don't get... Some poems are meant to be read because of the way they appear on the page. But some poems, it's okay to express them better in words. I don't know. Here's one quote, but I don't know if I can pronounce some of these words in French. Let me see. Savanti. Do you speak French?
I usually can pronounce a word, even if I don't know what it is. But
well, shoe. I guess shoe and blue rhyme. I'll try this one. The Life of Pastry. Well, we have the Life of Rice. Why not pastry? I've never done this. A Walmart croissant is not today what I want, though it cheaper be than the $6 croissant at the French bakery. Who, in its flaky, buttery Parisian Savanti, haughtily boasts of its authenticity. The Walmart croissants put on no such airs. They know they're placed alongside the less than authentic eclairs. To be born in a supermarket is never a croissant's dream. But things aren't always what they seem. Today, between its 2 layers of Bavarian cream proudly displayed on a French bakery shelf, even the illustrious Napoleon questions its sense of self. A Napoleon knows better than a cream puff or chew that were the birth at Walmart or cordon bleu, a pastry's days are but few. When no longer needed, every tart, meringue, and cruller, and when no longer needed, every tart, meringue, and cruller ends up defeated, joining a Napoleon II in the patisserie fields of Waterloo. The Duke of Wellington proved to be a formidable foe, but the Duke wasn't satisfied being just a general, you know. He reasoned such a title was not enough, that he would like to be remembered not as a cloying... He reasoned such a title was not enough, that he would like to be remembered not as a cloying Napoleonic confection, but a dish selection of more hearty English stuff, and that his name would forever be known to posterity, Wellington, the beef pastry puff.
Oh, thank you so much. Gosh, you're making me hungry.
So if I make a mistake, though...
No, it doesn't matter. They can fix it or not. This is for us. So.
Oh. Well, I did repeat the lines. So
No, it's fine. Delightful. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
I wasn't planning on reading those.
Inside Phil's mind by way of gustatory delights. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well, thank you. That was fun. I have some haikus, but...
Sure.
Maybe enough. I will read one last poem. It's very short. Let's see here. Maybe I can't find it anyway. Let's see here. Daily grind, maybe. So I lived in New York City for 28 years.
No.
And a lot happens in that city when you live there 28 years. So this is the last one. This was a New York experience called Daily Grind. I was once so desperate for work I handed out flyers for a strip club offering half off.
Oh, that's great fun.
Great fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
I'll look forward to your memoirs about that Messianic Jewish thing, because I'm really fascinated by all of that.
I have a book that I wrote, and I ran out of copies, but I'm getting some more. I'll give you a copy.
I'd love to see it.
The testimony is in there.
Oh.
What I did was I took characters from every book in the Bible and gave them a voice. What happened that day? Kind of how, do we still have time?
Yeah.
I watched once on HBO. It was on Broadway too. It was called, oh my goodness, what was it called? Exonerated. And it was prisoners on death row who, talking about their lives, how they were innocent, they were on death row. And so they would give their story. And I said, wow, what if I use characters from the Bible to give their story in first person? What happened that day, an encounter? And I remember Glover, what's his name? Glover, he's the actor. Daniel Glover? He used to do a lot with Mel Gibson. And anyway, he portrayed this character who had given up, really. He had faith, and when he went to prison, he had just given up. And so he walks out into the yard with his friend, and it's raining. And for some reason, he looks up in the sky. He says, God, if you're still with me, make the rain stop. And the rain stops. And his friend says, you do that again, I'll believe it. So it starts raining again. They're out there. He does the same thing. God, if you're with me, make the rain stop. The rain stops. 3 times. And so he went back into his cell and he said, I'll be okay now. I know God's with me. Wow. And I said, I could write a book about what happened to Lazarus that day, or Mary Magdalene, or, these characters. And they did actually made a play from the book in Denver. They did it in Denver. And we set these Bible characters in a jazz nightclub, which made it more interesting. Just contemporary people,
Don't you wonder what happened to all that? Do you have copies of a recording of that play? Or is it out there in the ozone somewhere?
I don't think they recorded it. Yeah. But I'd like to do it again. I really would, because it was wonderful, because we had intervals, and one day the actor didn't show up, so I had to do the part. And I was a waiter, and I did this Bible character as a waiter.
Which character?
Well, I actually made him up.
Oh.
In the book of Ezra in the Bible, Ezra comes in and says to the Jews in exile, look what you've done. You've married all these foreign women. You got to get rid of these women. They're going to lead you to idolatry. So I created this character who loved his wife. She wasn't Jewish. And he said, why do I have to do this? I love this woman. And it was all about that kind of separation that went on. And he says, why do we always have to do this? Why can't we just... So his struggle to stay married to a woman that the law said, no, you can't. But in the Bible, there's a lot of grace. Ruth in the Bible.
Oh.
She was a Moabitess.
Right.
And what God said at one point, no Moabite shall ever enter the congregation. But there she is. Because God looked at her heart and said,
whither thou goest, and things like that.
Yeah, he looked at her heart and said, she's good.
There's hope.
That's right. So he can change his mind if he wants to. I mean, when I had that incident, when I told people what happened to me, they said, "Nah, you were nuts." And I think that was my testimony. You? Come on. I remember walking in New York, and I still had my hair was still very long. And this young, sweet little black girl was giving out tracts, and she said, I said, "I'm a Christian." She said, "You don't look like a Christian." I love that.
Well, I thank you ever so much. This
you.
has been
so
great. It's so fun. Oh, it was really fun to do.
Having dinner and coffee over.
Yeah. It's really nice. Really nice.
Thank you.